We're live.
Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the April 25th, 2023 meeting of the Warren County Human Services Committee. I would like to ask for approval of the minutes from the prior month's committee meeting. Supervisor Runyon and Supervisor Frazier on the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Privilege of the floor, either from committee members or from the general public. Hearing nothing, we'll move on to the action agenda items. We have Commissioner Chris Hanchett from the Department of Social Services and two representatives from the Warren County Youth Bureau with us. And if we could start, if we could begin with the DSS report. So we have a request. Number one, if you could run us through that, please.
Yeah, we have a pretty short agenda here for DSS. I have only two action items. The first one is a request notice of intent to fill a position of social welfare examiner in the Medicaid unit. Base salary is $44,729. This is vacant due to a promotion effective October 10th, 2022. They're budgeted positions and they need to be filled based on caseload size and programmatic mandates.
Motion to bring that to the floor, Supervisor Frazier and Supervisor Runyon on the second. Questions or comments from the committee? Anyone else? Okay. I will call the question. All in favor of approval of request number one?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Great. Request number two. Chris?
Number two is also a notice of intent to fill. This is for the position of social welfare examiner in our temporary assistance unit. Again, the base salary is $44,729. This is vacant due to a resignation effective April 14th.
Motion to bring that to the floor, please. Supervisor Bruno and Supervisor McDevitt on the second. Any questions or comments on request number two? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. So moved. Your commissioners report and activities and updates, Chris.
I sent that to you via email
Yep.
For distribution. So I believe that everyone should have got that prior to my vacation.
Okay, yep, I think
I can't remember what day it was because
okay, yeah,
I lost track of time last week.
you can't remember your
Time I had a week
vacation?
off in years.
Okay. Yeah, that's a process that we've had for quite a while, where the commissioner sends out the report. Generally, it's from like the second week of the preceding month right up to about the first or second week of the month that we're in. So, and if you have any questions on that, certainly get in touch with myself or the commissioner. We have Julie Montero, who has joined us. Julie, if you'd like to walk us through the finance report, please.
For the monthly revenue and expenditures through March, the expenses are right about our average for the month. Our revenues, however, was because the March, so they kind of play catch up for January, February. So that was real good news to see it come in. So all in all, we're in good shape, both expense and revenue wise. And on the overtime, we still have staff taking advantage of being able to comp some of their overtime, for really helping us leave the overtime down. Really benefits some of the new staff that have no time available for them as well.
Does anyone have any specific questions or comments for Julie? Hearing nothing, I will ask the commissioner if he would introduce our guests from the Youth Bureau and help them go through their report.
Yes, Michael Gray was not able to attend today. He is going to be retiring in the near future, and Sue Murray is going to be taking his place. So
Well,
let
that's
her-
undecided on the Washington County end. However, I have had the pleasure of working with Mike for 26 years at the Washington County Youth Bureau on alternative sentencing. This is definitely my first experience here at the Warren County Board of Supervisors meeting. So forgive me if I muddle through just a bit. So we're looking for, we need authorization to continue the contractual agreements with Warren County municipal towns and City of Glens Falls to reimburse the portion of costs for recreational programs and associated community youth service providers as outlined on the attached. The funds are allocated annually from the Office of Family Services to provide positive youth development recreation programming. This year is a transition year, so the numbers are based on a 9-month allocation. Moving forward, the program year for allocations will follow the federal budget year of October 1st to September 30th, which will be beneficial in the long run. So that I need that approval to contract with the towns and the City of Glens Falls as number one.
So to add clarification for that, if you see the numbers, those represent 75% numbers.
Correct.
And beginning October 1st, of course, there'll be 100% of
Correct.
the allocation. And also for October 1st, additional municipalities will again have the opportunity to kind of weigh in on the process of receiving funding. So we have a motion to bring resolution 1 to the floor. Supervisor Frazier, Supervisor Runyon on the second. Any comments or questions? Supervisor McDevitt.
Maybe just maybe kind of an obvious question, but these programs are needed. They're successful. They make a difference in the lives of our youth. They should be continued. And help me with the success of the programs and your opinions of what we ought to do and the programs as they stand and going forward. Are they successful and should they be continued?
I would say yes, definitely. So part of the process for the these are pass-through dollars often, and we have so they're already allocated to youth recreation programs. I can say that since we're learning about Warren County, you have some very vibrant youth recreation programs that do a great job. We've had an opportunity to meet with several of the programs and assist with loan library items and things like that. So I can say the programs are fantastic. In the long run, these programs assist kids with positive connections and, time and all of those things. So definitely beneficial. The other piece is that it also is the opportunity to provide funding to some local programs, additional youth serving programs. So this piece is invaluable. I can say on the state level, we are always active in our association in promoting youth recreation to try to get as many dollars as we can, which kind of rolls into the next set of dollars, which is the next items that I want to discuss, which is youth sports opportunity funding that came from sports betting. And as the Youth Bureau, we were proactive in getting it switched to just be available to not-for-profits to also being available to youth recreation programs. So that's kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff that we do on the state level. So hopefully that answers your question.
You do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And again, just for some clarification, going back to request number one. October 1st affords municipalities and their finance people to basically be able to incorporate that into their municipal budgets. And so you're not playing games, halfway through or midway through the program year. So it's from a bookkeeping standpoint, it's a lot more efficient way of doing things. So, yeah, Supervisor Bruno.
I noticed on this, thank you, Mr. Chairman, on this attachment one, the 2023 recommended allocations are 2022 allocations. It's
Correct, because that's based on the 75% timeline, the 9 months versus 1 year.
Okay.
So really, they stayed the same. If it was a 1 year allocation, they would have remained the same. They would have looked the same numbers, basically.
Okay, thank
Give
you.
or take. We will have another allocation point in time that will be from 10/1/23 to 9/30/24. So we will be coming back for that second half for this year only, and then we'll
Then
move forward. Then it should be an easier process.
adjust it now.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Thank you.
We need to vote.
Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor of approval of request number one, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay. The next four resolutions, is there any interest from the committee in combining those?
I'll make that motion that we put those all together. They're all authorizations to enter agreement, so I don't have a problem with
Okay,
that. I'll
thank
make that
you,
motion.
Supervisor Frazier and Supervisor Drossy on the second. So we're going to be batching resolution requests 2, 3, 4, and 5 together. Discussion or questions about any or all of the requests? I'll call the question. All those in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Resolution number 6. Sue, do you want to take that?
Sure.
Okay,
And this is just the request to authorize to submit to the New York State Office of Children and Family Services, the resource allocation plan for 2023, which is the sports education funding programs and the YDP Youth Development Program funding, the combination.
motion to bring that to the floor. Number 6. Supervisor Bruno and Supervisor Runyon on the second. Any questions or comments on resolution request number 6? I will call the question. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. And resolution request number 7. Sue, if you could walk us through that.
Sure, and this is to request authorization to appoint a new member to the Warren County. We're seeking to add Northern Warren County representative on the youth board who has expressed interest in attending, and her name is Caitlin Hill, and she currently is the director of the Youth Commission for Chester, Horicon, and she lives in Brant Lake. So we would like permission to add her.
Motion to bring that to the floor. Supervisor Frazier and Supervisor Bruno on the second. Discussion or questions? Right, I'll call the question. All in favor of approval of request number 7, the appointment of the individual from town of Brant Lake, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you very much.
Please come back and visit again.
Thank you, we will.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Chris, as far as either Youth Bureau update or Department Department of Social Services
Yeah.
update.
I really,
Did I know that?
I really don't have anything, but they do have a couple of updates.
Okay, yeah.
they'd like to
Leah,
discuss.
or Sue, whoever would like to speak.
Some happy things that we're right in the process of having 7 youth go to the sheriff's camp, and we're working with the sheriff's department to make sure that we fill the Warren County slots for that. We have 7 youth that are willing to go and 7 that are on a waiting list that we're hopeful to get in. We had 16 youth, Warren County youth, complete the lifeguard courses that we held in the 2 vacation breaks. We had 4 youth complete a safe sitter class. 1 youth who's also on our youth board attended the Youth Leadership Forum in Albany. And the last year's youth sports and education funding served 197 youth at the Double H Hole in the Woods adaptive ski program. And you asked about the recreation programs. They served 5,080 youth through last year. So that's just a little highlights, positive highlights.
Is that about average or?
We don't know the answer to that only because this is our first year, but I'm assuming that yes, I think some programs with COVID and with staffing had to reduce just a tad bit on how many registered youth they could serve. But I think those numbers are creeping up now that staffing and some of those things are evening out.
Great, thank you.
Supervisor Frazier.
I just think this is a wonderful idea that Washington County and Warren County combined on this, and I see a lot of good things happening, and I'm not knocking Warren County, but
Yeah, well,
on that board for, a lot of years, and I didn't see us doing as much as I thought we should, but just only having been on this board working with this group for a short period, I see they've kind of really got the enthusiasm for making things happen. So I'm really happy that, we made that decision to do that.
yeah, thank you for that. And that's obviously one reason why we called upon them to join forces, because we knew they had a very robust program over there. And we had an actual separate, just a little backstory here. We had our own independent, separate youth bureau here in Warren County, but they dissolved it back in 2011 or 12. So we were just limping along, basically doing the minimal stuff we could do because we didn't have the staff for it. So myself and another staff member were doing this and keeping the dollars in the county so that we could pass that money through to the town's rec programs. But we really wanted to do something better. And as you know, you've been on the board. So I think we're very pleased with the work, and as illustrated by Sue, they've already had a lot of major successes. One of the other good things that was discussed a little bit is the funding. They changed the funding year so that there's not going to be these delays that we've had in the past. So the towns will get their money quicker and on time.
Supervisor McGowan.
Yes, I really want to thank them both and our commissioner. This is a great program. This is very exciting to hear. I do hope you make a decision and stay on. But this is really a wonderful thing. And one of the things I wanted to bring up was the kids in the camp. And that's kind of sponsored through the sheriff's department, isn't it? There's a letter that just came from our sheriffs, and I read it, and I have to kind of check because I just think it's a great program to give some of these kids an opportunity to share these experiences.
That's exactly it. So the sheriff's camp is a week-long camp that's held in July in, I think, Caroga Lake area. It's run by the Sheriff's Association. So each county has an opportunity to bring so many kids. However, the process itself is a lot of paperwork to make sure medical forms and those types of things. So we've been doing that process in Washington County for years and has been successful. You really have to commit, a time frame to get enough kids to go. So we were fortunate that Warren County, it just fit right into something that we were already doing. So if you see the Kogan out here camped out on Saturday morning, she'll be signing forms for parents to meet her here out in the parking lot at Warren County. So that will be her doing sheriff's camp. So it's a great opportunity for kids that wouldn't necessarily have such an opportunity.
Well, I think this is such a great partnership and I am, and pleased,
Thank you.
to see you both here. So, you know, I can only speak for myself, but, I really, as a supervisor, I'd love to, you know, help in any way, but,
Great,
I
thank
guess
you.
I'll be starting off with a check to the sheriff.
That will be helpful. Thank you.
Anyone else from either the committee or from the audience have any questions or comments that they'd like to make? I will ask for an adjournment to this meeting. Supervisor Bruno. Supervisor Runyon, all in favor, say aye.
I
Any opposed?